This video is going to cover how you can change the length and width of your field and how the app is programmed to scale the field after you've changed the length and width. So here we're going to tap Add Field. We can select which sport we're working with: lacrosse, soccer, 9v9, 11v11. We'll drag and drop an 11v11 out here, but notice the field is stuck to my finger. The bottom left corner of the field is stuck to my finger. That is the anchoring point. It's important to know where the anchoring point is, because when I scale the length or the width, it will either expand away or shrink towards the anchoring point, right? And here's what I mean. If I tap the field and then I tap Edit, here's how we change the length and width of the field. The Edit menu is made up of folders. The 11v11 is the main folder, and we don't want to just go into More and Arrange, because what happens is when we change the width, we're also changing the height at the same time. We want to customize these fields to have a custom length and width. So let's cancel. In order to change the length and width correctly, we'll need to have the outline folder highlighted. So here's the 11v11 folder. If you tap the little arrow here, you can open it up, and inside you've got multiple folders. And here's the outline folder. Now, if I were to dive too deep into the outline folder, you can see that there's no longer an arrow here. We have left touch line, which is an actual segment on the field, and you can see it highlighted green. If I were to tap More and Arrange, and I change the length of this segment, the only thing that changes is that segment. So we want to press cancel. We don't want to do that. We want to have the entire outline folder highlighted. Then we can tap More, Arrange. Now, when we scale the field, you'll see it shows us where the anchoring point is, but the confusing part is in the Edit menu, everything scales uniform. When you tap Save, it will scale off of the anchoring point. So if you're confused, just follow along for a moment, because this will all make sense in a second. Let's do a dramatic amount for the width, and let's do a dramatic amount for the length. You see how it's scaled uniform? I'm going to tap Save, and I'm going to save it again. Watch how it scales now off of the anchoring point. This line stayed the same, and this line stayed the same, but it expanded away from the anchoring point. Now that we know where the anchoring point is, if we rotated the field and we move it, now it looks like the anchoring point is on the top right portion of the field, but it's all the same. So we can save it. I'll change the length and width back to standard sizing. You open up the 11v11 folder. The outline folder is highlighted. We can tap More, Arrange. We can bring the width back down to something like 65. We can bring the height back down to something like 112. When we tap Save, you notice how it scales uniform, but that's only in the Edit menu. When we tap Save, we'll save it again. Watch how it scales back towards that anchoring point up here.